are a local service provider and I ask you, hey, what business are you in? What would you say? Now, here's what I believe that you would say because I've had this conversation hundreds of times with local service providers in conversations, just asking them, it's like, hey, so what business are you in? And no, and 99.9% of the time, that the person's going to tell me that, for example, they're an insurance agent. They're going to say, I'm I'm in insurance. I am real estate. I am in the mortgage business. I am in financial service. Right? It doesn't matter. That's usually always going to be the answer that that I get from people. And so, what I'm going to share with you today is I'm going to help you understand that you may be in the wrong business. And what do I mean by you may be in the wrong business? Not the wrong profession, because there's two different things. So you can still be an insurance agent, but what I want you to be thinking about is thinking about that differently. And what I mean by that is that we are in, as local service providers, you are in the relationship business. This is what I believe. When I was running my real estate business, Gary Keller, who's most knows of Gary Keller in the real estate world, one of the things that he used to teach all the time is like, hey, you guys, what business are you guys in? Everyone would go, we're in the real estate business, right? And they're like, no, you're in the lead generation business. I go one step further is that I don't disagree that that the lead generation piece of that, but the other part of it is that ultimately that leads to we're in the relationship business, because we all need new people coming into our business, right? Because depending on what industry that you're in, people are going to come and people are going to go, things are going to happen. And so the key piece of this is that why I think it's deeper than just lead generation is why building that relationship, especially here in towards the end of 2024, there's just so much more, I believe, so much more competition. Now, there's obviously a lot of opportunity, but there is a lot of competition. And so how do we hedge against competition? How do we hedge against all the other things, right, that are going on in our clients and our customers' minds and in their worlds? And I will tell you this, it comes from building that relationship. And I know this because I built a business out of relationships. I came out of the real estate world and built a business that was 94% of that business was referred business, means it came from people that know, like, and trust us. And that business, so I sold to my partners, still functions that way. And they do, and they're doing an amazing job. And I share this with you today is because so many times as I talk with local service providers, is that they're fixated on the industry of like, and I'm not saying that you don't need to know your industry. That is not it. But the issue of this is that where we're spending too much of our time, I think, is in that of like being an insurance agent, being a real estate agent versus being a relationship builder and consistently communicating with those people, because those are the people that, like I said, know, like, and trust us. Those are the people that are going to continue to do business with us. Those are to be the ones that are going to refer us, right? How do we get our business to 94% referred? Well, it just didn't happen by osmosis. It came with a really a strategy of around, hey, I got to stay in contact with people, not just in contact in just like going, hey, I'm just going to spam them with a bunch of stuff about how great I am, I'm great my business is, because that used to be a way I think that we were taught. I know, at least coming out of the real estate world of it is that you just got to tell them how great and how wonderful you are, right? Nobody really cares how great and wonderful you are unless how great and wonderful you are affects them ultimately. And so what I want you to be thinking about and looking in your business is like, what does that look like? You know, we're dissecting that and looking at it, putting it under the microscope, if you will, in your business is like, going, hey, where does my business come from? Where am I getting this? Am I, are you buying a bunch of leads? Which that's a whole other training that I can do on that. But, are you buying leads? Are you spending a lot of time on social media? And I'm not throwing shade on social media. Obviously, you're probably seeing this on some social media platform. But the issue of it is that are you being strategic? That are you actually spending the most quality time with the people that are most likely to refer you and to continue to do business with you. And especially if you're in the insurance world or you're in financial services, because in that's recurring, right? We have recurring customers in that they are paying us monthly or annually on a premium or on however the investments may be set up that you're getting compensated on that. And so the key piece of that is that if I want to keep these people happy, why? It increases my retention rate, lowers my churn rate, which means I'm going to be more profitable in my business. And we have to start really getting more clear on this, because I think it gets overlooked, because I see it all the time on Facebook, on Instagram. Doesn't matter what platform you go to. It's just like, the issue is local service providers are challenged, right? We're always wanting to create new business. I have a coaching business, right? What do I need? I need people to coach that I can help. So that I'm no different than anyone else in that. So I'm in the relationship business. So the clients that I currently have is like, hey, how am I bringing value to them? Yes, in my industry, what I'm doing is helping them grow their business, learn how to get more referrals, which generates more income for them. And all of those things. The same thing that you're doing, whether you're in insurance, real estate, mortgage, financial services, it doesn't matter. But the other piece of that is it's building that relationship that know, like, and trust. Because here's what's going to happen. There's going to come a time, and I use insurance. I live in South Florida, and insurance is a big deal down here because of Hurricane Ian 2 years ago, right? Our insurance has basically doubled in the course of that time. And so the piece of that is that we have to be looking at, am I building those relationships with those current clients? Because then, and if I'm not, if it's superficial, if it's just transactional, as soon as somebody else comes along, another company, another agent, and they're like, hey, we can do it cheaper, they're going to be more likely to go. More than likely. They just are. If you're going to be, and people be price sensitive. Where I found and have seen where that makes it more challenging is that when I have a relationship with someone, if I've got a relationship with my insurance agent, which I do now here in South Florida, and if there's an increase where it's just like, man, there's an increase, I'm not happy about that. But man, they do an awesome job. They stay in communication with me. They're bringing value to me. I'm more likely to not jump, unless maybe it was some kind of crazy, difference in price, and that's a whole other thing. But the point I'm making today is that to kind of to insulate our business is through this relationship piece. Okay, if you guys have watched any of my content, obviously this is what I talk about. I talk about it all the time because I know the importance of it, because I've seen it not only in my own business, but the other clients that I have worked and have helped grow their business using these principles, these tactics and strategies. And it's not rocket science, right? It's easy to do. It's easier not to do something. Staying in contact with people, because what we want to do is we're like, oh, again, and I talked about this in a video last week. It's like, oh, they're already a client of mine. They already love me. They know me. And go back and watch that video. I think that was Friday's video. I told a story about how that doesn't sometimes always work. And so the key piece of this, we don't want to take anyone for granted. We don't want to take these customers, these clients for granted, especially the ones that we already have. And because if we lose them, not only we lose their business, but we lose any future referrals that are going to come through those people. And so I want you to change your mindset when someone asks you, hey, Jason, what business are you in? You're going to go, I'm in the relationship business. Oh, you know what? Because that's going to be different than anybody else. Anything's going to say just from that piece of it, right? It's like, well, what do you mean by that? The relationship business? I'm in financial services. I help people, right? And I build relationships with people to help to understand, what's best for them in their life, to help them maximize, their money, right? Whatever. I'm just, off the top of my head on that. But you see where that, and then actually doing that, staying connected with them. What I teach in my system, right, is the 36 Connect system, is staying in consistent contact with people throughout the year, right? not beating them over the head, asking them for referrals every month, but understanding how, right? How and when do we ask for that referral? And it's usually different than most people think because we don't want to come because everyone's like, I don't want to ask for a referral because I feel desperate or I feel, like needy or whatever. Yeah, that's just up here on your, if you're truly building a relationship, people want to help you. I'm just telling you, it just works that way. It's human nature. Unless you're a social psychopath, you want to help. You want to help people, right? We just do. So I believe that's the way the way we were created. And so that relationship piece of that is that it's something that we have to do consistently. How are we consistently doing that? Staying in contact with people, helping them solve a problem or making their life better or easier. And sometimes out of our industry, if I'm in insurance, yes, they have everything insured with me, let's say, but then it's like, what else is going on in their world? And I don't know what's going on in their world until I actually ask them, right? And so I'm in communication with them. Hey, what's going on? Is there something going on that I can help you with? I'm connected to a lot of people in the area. And hey, there's something that you need. Hey, I'm thinking about whatever. We're repainting the house. Hey, do you have a painter? No, not really. I don't have anybody yet. Hey, I have a great painter. I'd love to connect you, right? Helping them solve a problem, making their life easier or better. That's it. Don't you think if you have someone in your life that's making your life easier or better or helping you solve a problem that you want to keep them in your life? Yeah. And that's the simplicity of it all. Yes, and that they know that what industry you're in, but what so many times as a local service provider, and you hear me say the local service provider a lot, group that in there because what that is that we're selling ourselves. It's not if I'm in the real estate business, I don't have we have homes, but those homes aren't mine, right? We're not selling a tangible product in a sense. Is that we're selling a service. I'm going to help you either sell your home or help you to purchase, the right home. And people are buying you ultimately what they're doing. Yes, they're going to buy a house, but they're not buying, they're got to buy you. It's like, hey, is this the person that I trust or that I believe that can help me to get to where I want to be? No different than with my insurance, no different than with my mortgage, right? And especially investing my money. Okay, it's probably a bigger one. And so when I group that in, this is what I mean is if we can start doing that and we start being more valuable to them, then they're not going to want to go. I'm not saying that they're all going to stay and they're all, your life is going to be perfect in every way because you do this. But I will tell you this is that it can definitely change your business. I know it did mine when I made the shift because initially early on in my real estate career, I was more transactional in it, where it was like, hey, go to the next thing. Did TV advertising, did stuff where it was more what I would now call gimmicky, right? And that's been almost 20 years. It was different then. Until I realized it's like, man, there's a lot of churn in that. And then people are just shopping cheap and price and all those things. And then when I understood that the value of building these relationships and it's work, I'm not going to don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying it's like, I've got the magic bullet and I'm like going like, oh, here it is. This is going to be, you don't have to do any work. You don't have to do anything. And it's all, no, it doesn't work that way. Business, it doesn't work that way. I wish it did. And there's a lot of people selling the dream online, and I get it because that's what we all want. We all want it to be easier, but instead of wanting it to be easier, we just got to get better. That's if you don't take anything else out of this video today, that's just ultimately what it is. 33 years of running and owning businesses. I have looked for it. I've looked under every rock and behind every bush and like going, there's got to be, where's the shortcut? And here's the process is the shortcut. The work is the shortcut. But I will tell you this is that if we are focusing on the right things, then the issue of it is that can it look different? Absolutely. Does it get there maybe a little faster? Possibly. But the issue of it is there's still going to be work involved. But what happens is you start building a different type of business. And you've truly got to care about people as well. Because if you try to fake it and you're like, oh, I care, it's going to come across as you don't care. I mean, anybody knows can be around somebody for a very long kind of going, they're just trying to sell me. They don't really care. They're not really trying to help me. I don't think, in this. And that's the thing is being who you are, being authentic, being genuine. truly looking like, how can I help? And just having, when we have those conversations, that would be like my conversations when I would running my real estate business and having conversations with my people and calling and checking in on them. It would be just like, hey, I thought about you. Hey, what's going on in your life I can help you with? It's like, hey, well, here's what's going on. Maybe you know somebody. And then it's like, if I could help them solve that problem, connect them with somebody, then it was like, hey, it's like, I need to, Bill knows some people. Jason knows some people. Jenny knows some people. Hey, I'll take that call, because the difference of it is why they take your call is because of the value, right? Let's just, for example, that I'm always cautious to pick a celebrity, but let's say there's a celebrity, that somebody that you're just like, that you're like, oh man, I'm like, this person, I follow them, they're awesome. And all of a sudden they call you, you get your phone rings and it's got their name, right? You're going to be like, would you take the call? More than likely. Now you may say, oh, there's someone scamming me, but I'm going to tell you, if it was that person, you would probably take that call. And no difference in yours is when we become valuable to the people because we're helping them. Then that's how, like people go, well, I can never get anyone pick up the phone and answer my call, return my text or anything. Then it may be in the way that you're actually communicating with those people, that they're like, are you trying to sell them? Hey, who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling or investing in real estate? Hey, who do you know that needs a mortgage? Hey, do you need to get a quote on life insurance? Hey, I can go, right? And if we're doing that, that's not bringing value to them. But if I can bring value, and then it sets that up to where it's like, and because ultimately they're going to ask me like, hey, Bill, hey, what's going on in your business? Hey, so thank you so much for asking. Boom. And it gives me an opportunity, right, to share with them and kind of go, hey, this is what I'm looking for right now. Hey, would you do me a favor? Blah, 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 right? It's knowing what to say inside of all that, where it doesn't make it feel weird and salesy and awkward and all the things that no one wants to do. This is why no one does it, is because we've created this story in our mind that it's harder than it has to be, because we've been taught a certain way that we've got to use embedded commands and we've got to do all of these other things to trick people sometimes. But really, we don't. we really don't. Just be yourself. Look out for other people. Right? They're your clients, right? How can you help them? How can you make their life better, easier? Solve a problem for them. So, what business are you in? Ask yourself that today. And if you think you're not in the relationship business, then what can you do? What's some things that you can do? Is like, hey, reach out. When was the last time you reached out to everyone in your database? Probably a while at times. And I've been guilty. My hand goes up. I have been guilty of that in the past as well. We get busy. We're in the weeds on the business. We're working in the business versus working on the business. And we look up one day and we're like, whoo, hey, where'd everybody go? I'm not getting referred hardly at all. And that's why this is so important, is that we've got to make that a priority. We've got to be making those relationships a priority in our business. And so that's what I've got for you in today's video. Kind of hit it maybe a little, right, kind of a punch today, in that. It's tough love sometimes, in this, is that because I see it. I know it will work if we'll just work it. And so if you guys want a copy, I don't have it in front of me, but if you guys want a copy of my client engagement playbook, you hear me talk about it a lot. Basically, it just tells you, hey, here's activities. Here's the activities to do. Here's when to do them. Start there, right? Having something that you can do that you can start engaging people with. So if you want a copy of it, just drop the word playbook in the comments down below, wherever you're consuming this content today. And as always, hey, thank you for watching. I hope you find value in this, and I will see you on the next video.